Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about 3 exercises that every golfer should be able to do. Be back in a moment. I think that all of us are desperately trying to learn that perfect swing, to make this game easier for ourselves. But a lot of times what we're not taking into account is our physiological ability. Are we capable of making the movements we're trying to do it, or are we just improving the software without updating the hardware? Now, for a lot of us, it might be a case of, maybe it's a bit too late for an update, but I think in a majority of cases, with a little bit of regular exercise, you can actually get your body performing better. And today I'd like to show you 3 things that I think you ought to be able to do, and if you can't, you ought to be practicing in order to be able to do, to help this game be a little bit easier. And we're going to start with the thoracic spine. Have you got enough movement in the thoracic spine? An awful lot of the standing up at the end of backswing, swaying out of the middle, straightening your legs in the backswing, and doing a lot of these problems is down to too little mobility in the thoracic spine. So there's a simple exercise that you can do to actually improve the mobility of your thoracic spine. When you're making a golf swing, I think everybody's seen this kind of 90-degree angle that we want to be turning our upper body through. But a lot of that will be dependent on the stability of the legs. And you'll see an awful lot of people using knee joints and hip joints in order to get more rotation. And all that's doing is making them unstable during the swing. So in order to get enough mobility, we're talking about mobility and stability at the same time. Your lower body staying pretty stable, just allowing this 45-degree turn in the hips, where your shoulders are also turning through 45 degrees, which gives you that kind of magic 90 degrees. Now, when you get to the top of your swing and you have a feeling that you have to kind of stand up to get that 90 degrees, or maybe you can't do that, so you're bending your left elbow, a lot of the time the problem is basically too little mobility here in the thoracic spine. And to check that out, what I want you to do is cross your arms across your chest, turn into that position, resisting with your lower leg. So I want your knees to stay bent, and I want your hips to be allowed to rotate around about 45 degrees. And then you're going to need kind of a wall or door, and I want you to straighten both arms out, staying in the spine angle, and press against the door. And you shouldn't feel any tension anywhere above your hips. Not in your back, not in your stomach muscles, not in your chest. And if you are able to do that, then you don't have a problem. If you can't, you want to be practicing it. Now, there's all kinds of exercises for thoracic spine. A lot of them you are better off doing in a fitness center, or if you've got a mat at home, you've all kinds of lovely stretches you can do there. But I find just for an everyday exercise, because I'm doing this one with the arms across the chest every day, is just basically turning to the right as far as I can as a right-hander, the right distance away from the wall so that I can straighten both arms. And straightening both arms out, that shouldn't provide any unnatural tension in any of my muscles, back muscles especially, when I do it. I'd also like you to do this on the other side as well. You should find it in the follow-through, you're also getting to this position. The same thing is required. You should be able to straighten your arms out against the wall, but you're being helped this time because your legs now can change their bend. It's okay if the legs bend as long as you stay in the spine angle. So this should be a little bit easier. Again, if you're finding that either of these exercises are difficult, whether it be the rotation to the right or the rotation to the left, then your body is going to try and trick you. It's going to try and use other joints during the swing in order to make this position possible. But that's probably going to cause stability issues in your swing and make it difficult to get back at the golf ball with any kind of consistency. The second thing you should be able to do applies to impact position. Now, in the impact position, we want to get this right shoulder down. In order to get the right shoulder down, we should be able to turn the left shoulder up. In order to get both shoulders rotating, we need hip rotation. In order to do that, we need the legs to help us. But for a lot of people, getting this bend in the spine, this curving of the body, if I show you it from this side, you can see there's a real kind of curvature in the spine coming up from the lower spine through the thoracic spine into the cerebral, and you really are kind of bending yourself over the ball. If you can't get into this position, then don't be surprised if you're coming up early on the golf ball in the follow through. And this is really kind of a position you want to be working on a regular basis. So if you can do a couple of exercises, and we've showed you the one against the wall, but if you get to this position, you want to basically straighten your legs without your head going up. And you should be able to scratch your knee with your trail arm or your trail hand. Turning towards the target without your head going up, allowing both legs to straighten, and you can scratch your right knee. Looks a bit strange until you put a club in your hand and you can see if you can get to this position without any tension in your body, the follow through is going to get a lot easier. We've spoken in the past about the use of shear forces in a golf swing, the way that your feet interact with the ground, pressing across the ground in order to turn your body. But even if you understand these forces, are you capable of really using them efficiently? One of the problems that adults have is if we start to lead a pretty quiet life, we no longer run anywhere and we never jump anywhere. And that means that a lot of the muscles that would be used normally in exactly this movement haven't been used for a long time. And getting those muscles active again will help you to produce more power in your golf swing in the coming season. So I want you to do a couple of tests and see how capable you are. But please, if you haven't jumped for a while, do this carefully. The very first one is a simple standing jump. And it's more about landing than it is about how high you jump. First of all, just to make sure you don't hurt yourself, make sure you land softly. Get used to using your legs again as springs, which will actually dampen the landing, so you're not bouncing off everywhere. Now, obviously, this is a vertical jump. We're using vertical forces. What we want to use are shear forces. We want to put rotation into the body. So obviously, you should be able to jump and turn. In order to do that, although you haven't done it consciously, your feet are pressing against the ground differently than when you're jumping vertically. Your left foot or your lead foot will be pressing out and away from the body, and your trail foot back behind the body. And this will help you to rotate. Obviously, the higher you can jump and the softer you can land, the better the exercise is. And the further you can rotate in the swing, the better and more efficiently your legs will help you to turn your hips and help you to turn your body in the follow through. So we have 3 very simple exercises that you should be able to do. And the better you can do them, the less resistance you're going to find in your golf swing. The shoulders should be able to turn through 90 degrees without using the knees to help them. You should be able to reach down to your trail knee in the follow through of the downswing without the feeling that everything, especially in your lead side, is tensing up in your back. And finally, you should be able to use ground forces to help you jump and turn, because it's exactly the muscles you use there that you'll be using when you are accelerating your hip rotation, using your legs in your downswing. Do these 3 exercises regularly and you'll soon be turning further, turning faster, and hitting the ball further. If you enjoyed the video as ever, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I shall leave my philosophy on golf up here in the left-hand corner. Have a good week. Be back soon. Bye-bye.